Hey everybody, this is Discord user Slappy White with Tex Hooper and Gen Con. Gen Con's voice is a little bit under the weather today, so she won't be doing her famous intro. This is BPX Break Room, and we're back. And today, Jen, Tex, and I will be speaking with, you know him as LavaHands.
Soap hands? What is that? Like,
He's got the hot hands.
shouldn't his hands have been melting?
Yeah, let's talk to LavaHands. Let's hear about him, about these repacks. Everybody's going crazy with cardio. Like, what's up with these repacks? We'll check out his website in case you haven't done that yet. And then also we'll talk about the Las Vegas bombshell, right, that took place about Wonders. So, Jen, I heard you and Tex chatting before we went live. So how are you doing, Jen?
I'm doing okay. No one would really care otherwise. It's another day in paradise.
Yeah.
That's great, Jen.
Wonderful.
All right, Tex, anything to add before we bring LavaHands up here?
Not anymore.
I did see something. Hey, Jen, how shocked are you about this? Of course, the three of us are Northeast based, but I was looking at the hottest housing communities in the nation, and Albany, Rochester, and Syracuse are among the three hottest. And it's like, hey, everybody, it's 1950 again. So, you know, if you're looking to invest, head back to upstate New York.
Hey, it's Syracuse is great.
Yes, all right.
We're 2 to 4 hours away from anything you can imagine that you want to do. You can ski, you can go to the ocean, you can see Niagara Falls, you can go to Canada, you can go to Pennsylvania.
And
Syracuse is great. It's the best. And we have a giant chip manufacturer coming into town that's building the biggest chip plant in the world, I think.
Yes.
Here in Syracuse.
And
the biggest in the U.S.
We should say this this show's sponsored by Hafner's Bar and Grill, and also
the Syracuse Chamber of Commerce.
Syracuse Chamber of Commerce. All right, let's bring LavaHands up and hear what his thoughts are on the semiconductor industry in this country. Hey, LavaHands, where do you stand on the semiconductor industry?
The semiconductor industry?
Enough said.
I'm like, I knew you guys.
Period. End of story. Today, but, we're good.
All right. Well, so LavaHands, otherwise known as Anthony, is that welcome to the show, to BPX Break Room. We're excited to have you here. You just launched a product that caught everybody's attention in boba, and so definitely want to talk about that. But first, let's get into you and talk a little bit about you. So where are you based out of, Anthony?
Chicago.
Okay. And you have,
nice.
And so obviously people know you as LavaHands, breaking. So talk to us about, first of all, have you always been into sports? I mean, assume you like, kind of like everybody else, there's an interest in some kind of sports. Like, what did you love growing up? Football, baseball, basketball, or all of them? Or was there one favorite?
Pretty much a little bit of everything. You know, if it was a Chicago sport, I was kind of into it. Played football, played rugby actually in high school.
Wow.
So I was in a kind of a little bit of everything, I guess I would say.
Cubs or Sox?
Yeah.
White Sox fan. I live in Bridgeport. Actually, I could walk to the stadium.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not as nice
what do you
as
think about
Syracuse.
Spot on, Jen. Spot on. What about the Bears? What's going on with the Bears?
You know, they're a young team, a lot of talent, and everybody expecting them to come out and be like a Super Bowl champ week 1. But it's like most of the guys, the only time they've had together is preseason. We'll discuss that more after about week 6 or 7, and I can give you a better idea of where we're going with that.
You still have faith in Caleb?
No.
Okay.
Not based on his decision making under pressure in situations. He's really good as long as the pressure is not in his face, and I don't know if that's something that he's gonna work his way out of, because the offensive line's having a lot of issues, a lot of false starts, a lot of miscues. They're just way out of sync right now, so I don't know if it's really Caleb's issue or just the offense in general, but I do know when you're throwing the ball 7 yards over wide receivers' heads when they're wide open is not acceptable.
Yeah, that's not great. All right, well, Slappy's going to kill me if I keep asking you football questions.
Actually, I was gonna say that for Jen and I, like, you're almost there, Tex, but is the Bears are like, it's funny, like, I mean, if as children of the 80s, like, I mean, the Bears, it's sad how far they've fallen. I mean, because they were so nationally well known. I mean, Mike Ditka, I mean, he was on every other Saturday Night Live, you know, and of course, you know, the Bears, like, for people who don't remember that SNL skit. But it's just also like you actually knew who was on the Bears. Like, there was a time when you could ask anybody in America who was on the Bears and they would actually know. So hopefully you guys...
Jim McMahon, Richard Dent.
I mean, it's kind of like what the Cowboys are going through right now. People knew them in the 90s, and now they just know Dak Prescott's a choke artist. So,
oh, love it. So, Lava, tell us about your breaks and how your history in breaking and how these repacks came to be.
So, if you want to know how I got the name LavaHands, I started breaking during the pandemic because one of my coworkers just happened to get me into it, and well, the credit card screaming later, I'm like, well, I can do what these guys are doing, so I tried it out for myself. We had nothing else going on at work all day anyways. There was nobody coming in, nobody coming out, so I was doing breaks at work and then started doing them at home.
Wait, you were doing breaks at work. What did you have that you could do breaks at work?
I used to run a mattress store. I was a retail store manager.
So if I came in to buy a mattress, I could have walked into a break as well.
You could have, yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, you're sitting there for 3 days and nobody's coming in. I was like, well, I could try this in the back room. The other guy's working up in the front, and you know, let's see what happens.
What the hell? Yeah.
And then the world started opening up, and I couldn't do it anymore, so I had to do it from home. And how I got the name LavaHands was I'd say about a year later, I was breaking from home, and I went on a streak where I just started hitting 101 after 101 after 101, and I had about 5 or 6 101s in. It was almost becoming like comical, like what's the next 101 he's going to rip? Well, a buddy of mine that owns Mark's Card Shop, which is a local shop in the suburbs here. So he jumps in, hit him a Justin Fields RPA 101. And then he opens another personal box of basketball and hit him an Anthony Davis 101. So my other buddy's like, man, you got the LavaHands, and it just stuck ever since. That wasn't my only instance. We had Wild Card that had sent us some promo packs, and I hit 36 101s out of like 300 packs.
What?
Like that's almost every 101 that they had in the product, I hit. Like the correlation of how they shipped these out was not very good.
Apparently not.
That's nuts.
Wait, so now hold on, LavaHands. Did you always have that luck for yourself, or was it only when you started breaking
when I ripped for other people? Except for Battle Arena, I've had unusually stupid luck ripping Battle Arena for myself, as you can see from all the cards that have come out of Lava packs.
Yeah. What's been your biggest hit out of Boba, personally?
I know I hit that Merino green glow. Actually, me and Galileo, you guys all know Galileo. So me and him had a talk the other day because I'd sent him several messages. The first big card I ever hit. So when we met everybody from Battle Arena in Cleveland at the National, so when I first got introduced to it, I reserved a box just like everybody else. And I hit a Hex Amon-Ra auto out of that box.
Wow.
Had no idea what to do with it, right? Like, because I didn't really know the product. And I was like, I put it up on eBay for like $1,000. Dude offered me $850 for it. And I'm like, sure. Why not? I'll take it. But ever since I got into it, I'm like, damn, why did I get that? Was like that sentimental card. So I just had a talk with Galileo, and we're gonna work on getting it back into its home where it belongs.
Wow.
Is that who originally bought it from you? Is Galileo?
Yeah, he bought it. I went back and looked at it on eBay, and I was like, wait a minute, it's the same name on eBay as it is in the Discord.
Wait, I know that guy.
I know that guy. Yeah. So.
That's wild.
That was the first big hit I ever hit, and I didn't realize how big it was because I didn't understand what an Apex tournament was.
Right.
You know, and I didn't realize that 195s were going to be that hard to find. So
Yeah.
I
Let's
just
hope
now
it
got
stays
another
that way.
195 this
Yeah.
last weekend in
Really?
Minnesota. That was the second 195 I've ever got my hands on.
It's awesome. Good for you.
Which will
So
be in a
how did the
lava pack near
repacks? Yeah. How did let's talk about the lava packs. How did that come to be?
So I used to make what was called a deep dish box back in the day for sports.
Of course, you Chicago.
Oh, Chicago through and through.
Yes.
And I had another guy building them for me, kind of like what I'm doing now for breakers. He's doing it for me. And it's something I've always wanted to do. And then just kind of got away from it. I wasn't in the industry full time anymore. And just been something I've been kind of sitting on the back burner. And I noticed that Battle Arena, like, because it's such a high quality product, the autos are all on card. It takes a little longer to build. Sticker autos is so much easier because you can mail it to somebody and get it back, right? So a lot of people don't understand why it takes so long for Battle Arena from one release to the next. In sports, it seems like every month there's a new release, right? I felt that this is a good way to fill that gap. So, and especially for breakers that can't necessarily get the allocations, like some of the bigger buyers and stuff, this would allow them to still introduce Battle Arena to their customers and add value to their breaks.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very cool.
So for newbies like me, I have to admit, I did not see the first or second. I think there've been two different shows with the lava packs. Can you educate me as well as whoever else doesn't understand exactly what the lava packs are?
So basically, you know, you open a box, like let's say a jumbo, and has 3 autos, right? They could be good autos, they could be 3 steel basic autos, right? And you can have a whole bunch of other different
Rodder.
Yeah.
Hey, I have like 4 metallic routers. Don't be disregarded.
So what this does is, like, we go out, we buy up all the hits so that you're guaranteed that there's going to be some value no matter what you hit in the break, right? And I try to value the spots that don't normally hit, like the stuff you don't see, like Bojacks, like it's such a long shot, right? So we added a lot of Bojack spots to our cases. Now, I know there's some confusion because there were some spots that, like Shohei Ohtani, that hit a ton of hits. What most people don't realize is we built 7 cases of 50 boxes. Each case was individually scaled from like a floor card to what you would consider like a hit or a ceiling card. Unfortunately, Whatnot doesn't allow you to give those values. They used to require it. Now they don't allow you to do it anymore because they say it adds to like a gambling aspect. When you tell people there's a guaranteed value, but the market changes day to day. If that stuff was boxed 3 months ago, the market could be different now. So now you have to be like consistent value is what they say, or consistent product. So I try to do my best, like between like what you would consider like a floor and a ceiling, to add value, like cards that you don't see very often, right? You can perceive whatever value you want. And this is why like being mixed in with a break is better than like individually, like why we're not individually selling the boxes, because it adds value to those spots that normally wouldn't have any value to them unless you had the long shot of getting lucky, right? This kind of takes some of the luck aspect out of it and adds more value for the breaker when he's mixing this in with boba product, is how we looked at it. So when Hobby Club took all the cases, opened them up and mixed them all together, that's not how the cases were like originally designed. And so I think Hobby Club didn't understand like how we built them. And this is part of like the learning process and of us like training you guys and educating people of like how we're building these. There wasn't supposed to be 50 Shohei Ohtani hits across the board. It was supposed to go out to like 7 different breakers, and 7 different breakers have a unique experience that was similar. Hobby Clubs goes, no, why don't we just buy them all and run it for you and test the market? As a new business launching, I couldn't really say no. That's like, no, it's okay. I built all this product. I don't want to get paid right away. Like no new business is going to say that. So we are very grateful, as big as they are, for them to get it out there. But I just think like some people that seen, oh, all these spots hit, So because they also ran 50 of the boxes in a break on Friday.
Lava, just to interrupt you for 1 second. Sorry, Mitchell. I do see your comments. You're in there, so feel free to ask away the question in the YouTube comments, and we'll get that question to Anthony. Sorry, LavaHands. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Got any questions, please? Like, I'm new to this whole podcast thing, so so like for
So am I.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So is Tex.
Anyway, you were talking about Friday night.
Most people didn't see in Friday night's break, there was a Shohei Ohtani hex out of the World Championship boxes. So if they would have seen that hit too on Sunday, I probably would have got hung out. But a lot of things too is he ran 60 boxes like as personals right before the break. So a lot of people didn't stick around because a lot of those hits that would have hit in that hero break ended up hitting in the personals. So a lot of people didn't see like there was a Bo 160 out of 8 tournament card ended up getting hit in one of those personals and stuff like that.
Wait, you've packaged 2 of those Bo to 8?
2. And we plan on having 3 in the next series.
Wow. That's wild because the first night Hobby Club did it, they hit one.
Yeah. And then there was a 160 that somebody hit in one of the personals.
Wow. That's wild. Very cool.
Yeah. Jen, you should have probably been in that break, huh?
Wouldn't have mattered.
I know, Jen, you're missing out.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Oh, hey, Realio's in the audience.
So we technically we tried to keep the floor around the $50 range. It was really hard to do because some of these cards, like if you go look them up, they've never sold. But you know, it's funny. Recently, a couple of them have sold. Like there was a gambler. It was a gambler ice or a Shohei ice out of there that just sold yesterday for like $100 on eBay. But yeah, there was no value on that card before the break.
There's a big difference there between a gambler and a Showtime ice, but
yeah, but it's like, but before that there was no comps to value it. So we valued it based on rarity with this first one because I just had so much stuff that people just don't see in the marketplace.
That is the hard part when you talk about basing it on rarity, that's what, to your point, you have to do it. The question from Mitchell in the audience, and shout out to Real Biz who's commenting as well. But Mitchell's question is, Lava and I go a bit back, but was curious. I know that Whatnot doesn't allow floor ceilings, but what was the floor ceiling of the boxes? As well as in the future, will there be checklists? So what about the first question? I know that Whatnot doesn't allow floor ceilings, but what was the floor ceiling of the boxes?
Well, that's what I said. We tried to keep the floor around like the $50 range.
Yeah.
But the ceiling obviously was the super, the pink hex. I mean, what kind of value do you put on that? There's supers that have sold for $2,000. There's ones that sold for $12,000.
So I guess the question is, when you were designing it, is it just what you had? Or to take Mitchell's question is that, do you have a plan like this is all, generally speaking, because of course people saw those boxes came out. Now there are going to be more boxes. And do they expect that same floor ceiling, or it could be anything depending on what you happen to be building that day, that week, that month?
So this is how we're building Series 2. So Series 2 is going to consist of 5 tremor cases of 10 boxes apiece. Each one is going to have its own like major hit or ceiling card, as they say, and then it's going to be staggered all the way down to the least as you would say, least valuable or least desired card, depending on which way that you look at it. But now we're buying them based on sales on eBay. Because the first thing somebody does when they hit their card is they go out, well, what did it sell for, or what is it worth? They go to eBay, right? They don't care about your opinion, my opinion, anybody's opinion. The fact is they can see it in black and white that this is what it's sold for. So that's how we're buying the cards. We're buying the cards based on what we see the values on eBay. And if somebody feels that it's worth more and doesn't want to sell it to us, we just don't buy it, because I can't have somebody open that card and try to tell them, oh, we value this at 800 when it's sold for 400 on eBay, right? So we try to value the boxes based on recent eBay sales. Now back to your question before. Yeah, most of what we had before was a collection that me and our Blizz have collected since the start. And we tried to just compile it the best way we could based on the format that we're going to be using going forward. And because most of the stuff that I had was so rare, it was really hard to do.
Yeah.
But the stuff we're buying now, we're more conscious of, like Card Ladder, for instance, actually pulls up Battle Arena. If you have the pro version, actually pulls up the data from the sales. 130 point does. So there's a lot more research tools now than there was like 3 months ago. So that's kind of where we're going. And then, I'm sorry, let me finish one more thing.
Yeah, finish.
The eruption case, we're going to try to put like one big apex hit, like a 190 or 195 or whatever we can get our hands on. Maybe it's a boat tournament card. And that's going to be the big chase for the entire eruption case. So if somebody wants to run all 50 small boxes in one break, they'll be guaranteed that they'll get something rare like that in the case.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, so back to from when we talked the other day, and you turned me on to this, and I didn't really realize it, and I've been using it last night and stuff, and it's phenomenal. But when you talked about comping, especially through like eBay, can you explain to the audience what you explained to me, how you can use eBay, but it's better to use a combination of Card Ladder and 130 point because they filter out those like the questionable sales that are on eBay or the ones that aren't confirmed yet?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me answer Joe's question really quick. He says, I love this product, but sad you parted with your PC. It hurt, but you know what? To see other people enjoy what I've collected and give me the opportunity to start my own company with Battle Arena, because we plan on taking this beyond Battle Arena. It was kind of like bittersweet sorrow. Like, I was sad to see it go, but I was glad to see how happy it made people to receive some of those cards. Because I mean, I had probably, I don't know, 500 cards, 600 cards. I mean, how many can I sit there and enjoy all at once? I did hide one and keep one back, which you guys will all find out about in the future. But for right now, I'm keeping that one under hats. So
wait. Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer right now? Are you the one who's holding the Bow 1-of-1 auto? Are you the one holding it?
No, I wish. I mean, with the bounty on that, I could have bypassed all of this and started my company.
Yeah. That would have really got
any of my cards.
Yeah, so, it's a good thing we cleared that up, because that really would have got the rumor mill rolling.
Yeah. I know, right? No, I do not have the 1-of-1 Bow auto yet. I haven't found it yet. Because I do have that lucky hand and that lucky streak. So I'm gonna find it in some random pack that I get from like Hobby Club in a break or something. Watch.
Yeah. Or you know what? I'm gonna buy a box of Alpha off you and make you rip it for me so I can hit it.
Yeah. I know you had a question, and then Lava, you want to do it, but just to finish off Mitchell's questions, is he did ask, in the future, will there be checklists? So just to answer that question.
So we will have a hit list. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily like an absolute 100% checklist, but there will be a hit list on the website based on each series that we create of what you can expect to be chasing in the cases. And we will have an average per box of what type of card you can expect to get out of a Tremor case, which is 10 boxes. And eventually we're only going to build 10 box cases. We're not going to do the 50 case, or we're just doing that. We realize that to be able to get that much product of Battle Arena that's just not out there, to try to keep making 50 cases, we'd be running around in circles like trying to manufacture cards ourselves. So, and back to your point about the eBay sales. So most people don't know this. So if you list a card on eBay on auction, and if you list it at $1,500 or you list it at 99 cents, doesn't matter, and you pull it down before that auction ends to sell it off eBay, eBay shows that as a confirmed sale, sometimes as much as 30 days. And that gives a unbalanced view of what the actual market of cards is, where 130 point and Card Ladder filter all those premature sales out. So, there's certain apps that I don't use because it doesn't filter those out. Some guys will try to use that in the sports card marketplace to show value for cards that really isn't there. And we're trying to keep a true value. So that's why I'm using Card Ladder and 130 point, because that way we don't hey, this card sold for 1,500. No, he took it off eBay and made a deal with a guy for 13 or 14 or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give like actual true data and not what it appears to be.
And Relio, who's your partner in this, one of your partners in this, he said in the chat that again, with giving up some of his PC and some of the cards that were big for, he said it was tough but worth it, and he did keep his Apex deck, so he kept that safe and sound.
So he can play in the national tournament, and we'll be talking about the Wonders National Tournament in a second. But I did want to go through your website, LavaHands, since we have it. Let me put it back up there in the forefront. And so I think Tex had some questions before you came on, because he was saying, "Is this retail facing, or is this more wholesale facing?" So Tex, do you want to maybe ask some questions as Jen, see if you have any questions for LavaHands as he goes through the website, or what do you want to spotlight on the website, LavaHands?
So yeah, I was just curious about you're selling these the new cases. You're getting ready to sell Series 2, but you have it set up where it's only breakers or retailers at this point can buy, correct?
That's correct. So breakers and stores are going to get first shots at allocations, mainly because this is set up more of a breaker product than it is like for personal direct to consumer. And this is our wholesale side of our company. We actually plan on going direct to consumer with a different version, but that's later down the road. We're talking to a couple of stores right now that where you can, if you just want a box, you can go in and buy a store. I have some breakers that want to just sell individual boxes, and that's fine. Those are discussions that we have to have, because we have to build those boxes out, making sure that, that they're going to work with, somebody coming and buying a box, and I don't want them feeling like, oh, I got the floor box, and feeling like they're all floor boxes. That's why we built them to complement more breaks, because it is a risk and reward product. There's no guarantee.
Gambling.
No, it's not. It's not. And I like how LavaHands was clearly on the side of the law. It's a risk reward product. Yes, that's a great way to phrase it, LavaHands.
I mean, think about it. Every retail box that you open, or hobby box, even from Battle Arena itself, it's all a risk reward. You don't know what you're going to get. You may not get anything. Well, I opened a booster box at the National I bought off somebody, and I got like $20 worth of cards. And then I opened up a booster box here in Minnesota, and I got a Hex mixtape polar bear. So
wow.
You just and a windmill fire auto. So but the last booster box I opened, I got nothing. I got a bunch of silvers and some low end 120s and 95s. You know what I mean? So it's risk reward. It's like any retail product.
All right. So now right now it's for your retail clients, and by the way, I want to say is Anthony, who designed your video? Because I know for some people it might be too animation. I love the video. I love this video you have on your website. It looks very professional, and I love it how it highlights the product. It does a great job of putting focus on the artwork. But did you do that, or did you have someone else do that?
No, I did that on my phone.
Really?
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
wow.
I've become the master of copy and paste. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's impressive. All right. Well, so if we take a look here, if I go down here, and now of course this isn't for all the people watching this, the individual buyers, but so again, going back, these are for the breakers, for the retail people. So tell us about this right here. It's do you want to go into any detail here, or do you want to just leave this for people to explore? It's up to you.
Well, no, feel free that if this is a product you think you might want to get a case or something like that, if you're a small breaker or you're a small business or something, and you're looking for a boba product, please still fill it out and reach out to us, because we're trying to get an idea of how many people are actually interested in getting this product, whether it be wholesale or retail. And whatever product that we don't sell wholesale, we'll open up some of it to the public in smaller quantities. Obviously, if you don't have a business or something like that, you're going to pay tax on it. But we just want to gauge how we can grow this and who we need to grow it to. So right now you can buy a eruption case, which is 10 tremor cases. Like I said, 10 boxes each. Each individual 10-box case will have its own hit. And then you're going to have basically like a giant ceiling hit per eruption case for those that want to run all 50 boxes as like a hero break. Just to let your customers know, like not all heroes are going to be covered in all 50 boxes. Like it's that risk reward that, we're going to leave that up to the breaker of how they want to appease those that don't hit. Because we just can't fill these cases with 170 hits.
Yeah.
That would be just impossible. So another thing too that I only announced to a few breakers yesterday. So if any of you bigger guys are listening, if you buy 2 eruption cases or more, we are going to include our aftershock case, which we have not announced yet. This would, I guess, be our official announcement. Our aftershock case is going to be a limited series. It's basically a continuation of series 1 before series 2. This will be shipped out to those who get 2 cases of eruptions before series 2 actually gets delivered to you, so that you have product at no additional cost, as long as you purchase 2 eruption cases up front, so that you can introduce the product to your customers, and we will absorb the cost of that.
Wow.
These are going to be an introduction of a smaller breaker style case for those that don't want to spend $8,000 on a case. They can spend $1,250 on boxes, and we'll still tier the hits and allow smaller breakers to actually get an opportunity to get in a little bit of the action. We didn't want to build this just for the big sellers. We wanted to build this for everybody to build Battle Arena and, kind of fuel our passion a little bit more for it as well.
Well, in LavaHands, you can see there are 2 days and 2 hours left in the allocation pre-order. How are things going so far through it? It said it was open for 5 days, so you've got 3 days under your belt. Is it going as about as you expected?
Without any of the big purchasers actually pre-ordering their cases yet, it's probably more than what we expected at this point.
Okay. Are you concerned about meeting the demand?
No. We put a limit of 20 cases up there. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't get to 20 cases. So, I mean, I do and I don't, right? We put a max of 20, but 10 cases was our goal, and we're about halfway there. So it's moving pretty quick.
So the pre-order ends in 2 days. When do you anticipate the release of Series 2?
So as we just disclosed in here, up to 45 days, because if it ends up being 20 cases, we didn't want to promise it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Just because it takes 10 days just to get the custom boxes we're having made, express shipped to us. So, we pay a little bit extra to get it done and get it done a little bit quicker, but it really comes down to how many cases get allocated. And obviously the less cases we have, the faster they're going to get out. We plan on starting on it like right away. We've already started buying cards to fill the boxes. So at this point, it's like, we just got to see where the demand is. Do we need to buy more cards come Monday? Or can we proceed with what we have? This is really, this is kind of that test phase 2.
So on Monday, if you need to buy more cards, for folks who are on the fence whether to sell some of their collection, should they reach out to you on Monday and say, hey, Lava, what's it look like? Are you looking to buy some, if folks out there want to downsize their collection?
No, absolutely. My DMs have been blowing up ever since they found out we were doing Series 2. So like, I have a couple of guys that we're already making deals with today and tomorrow. I have a couple of guys I'm making deals with on Monday, and then a couple other people I'm waiting on them to send over their lists. Eventually, we're going to have on the website, our website guy got all this together in a couple of days. He's going to add a section in there basically called Sell Us Your Cards. So I guess I can first announce that we're going to offer a buyback program for the cards that you hit if you don't want your card, at a percentage of the value. We'll buy them back just so that we can keep product flowing into future series that are coming.
Wow.
And people that, hey, I hit this cool card, I don't collect this guy, I'd rather just get the cash back on it. Cool. We'll pay you, cash you out on it, and we'll put it in another product and move forward.
Awesome. Jen, since you're kind of new to all this, do you have any questions as you listen to all of this?
Any other questions? I mean, I don't want to monopolize based on my ignorance, but so it's like I said, I didn't watch the break, so I'm assuming boxes are similar, and the breaker decides how they want to split it up, whether it's heroes, hot dog, however they want to do it, and then it's similar to a regular break, or is it one card per pack and then they just rip the packs and see what's inside?
So they're one box. There's 10 of those boxes in a tremor or a mini case, whatever you want to call it. And then there could be one card. There could be 3 cards in there. There could be 5 cards in there. We try to balance it out so each box has some kind of average value. I don't want to put a $5 card by mistake in a box, and we did make a few mistakes. I'm not going to say we're perfect on our first run trying to get these out. There were a few boxes that probably should have had more value in them. When you hire new people that don't know anything about the product and you're asking them, hey, pack this stuff up, they don't catch something that I would catch, right? Where I'm like, oh, damn, there needs to be another card in that box. So those are things that we're learning from to make sure that there's added value and correct value in every box that's open and how people run it. So like Hobby Club ran it a couple of different ways. They ran it in a power break, which in the 50 box break they did.
No, hold on. When you say a power break, so you mean they sold their spots based on you get all cards with the power 105, all cards with power 110. Sorry, go ahead.
Correct. Yeah. So that first 50 box break, if you had power 100, you crushed it because we had a bunch of 2024 pre-alpha cards in there that were all 100 powers. And I didn't know they were running a power break. They didn't tell us. This was just like Hobby Club's like, let's just gonna do this. And I was like, oh damn, okay, let's see how this goes, because we didn't build these boxes that way. So if you had the power 100 spot, like, you crushed it. If you had 110, you were getting battle foils from pre-alpha. Yeah. Right? If you had the 185 spot, you got the Otani Hex. It was crazy.
I think that's the one. I think that's the break that Hawkman went in, and I think he was talking about he absolutely crushed it with the low power numbers. To your point, like, I think it was Hawkman who benefited from that. Yeah, and he was shocked by how well he did.
So our goal is that since now we've kind of learned the different ways that Hobby Club wanted to try the product out, it's going to help us build it. So whether you run a power break or a hero break, it should balance out. So at that point, it's up to you how you want to run it. But and you could even run it as a hit draft. You could take a 10 box thing and run it as a hit draft if you want. You know, we're going to build these cases out where it'll accommodate different styles of breaks. And we know after the first trial run that that's kind of what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Jen, did you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Tex, did you?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Just if you can just take a minute, logistically, how many steps are there in building these boxes? It seems like it's incredibly complicated, especially working with like the formulas you're working with to try and, make everything, have a certain floor value up to the high stuff, but make sure everything's pretty even. How hard has that been to figure that out?
Well, that's why I have Rilio, he's basically the spreadsheet guy for me now.
I was gonna say it sounds like a version for Excel.
My collection that I had, like, I knew it backwards and forwards, so it was pretty easy. Okay, I know this is gonna give. I based it on shock value, right? And when people open up stuff, like, you can do the spreadsheets. They do what's called a ladder system, where you ladder out the average hits per like so many boxes. I try to follow part of that, but I also sit back and look at, like, how would I feel when I seen this card coming out of this box, right? I kind of look at it from the consumer on the other end. Is this going to be? Am I going to go, oh, that's cool, or is it my first thing is what is this card worth?
Yeah,
right. because everybody, like I said, they want to go see what they're hit. But for some of us collectors or people that really enjoy it, like, how does that make me feel when I open this up and see that card? Is that something that I really want to see come out of this? And we're open to feedback too. Please reach out if there's stuff that, like, man, you know, you probably shouldn't have put that in there, or like, hey, we'd like to see more of this next time. We're open to that because we're building this product for the consumer. I'm not building this product because, I mean, you know, yeah, it's a business for me, and obviously we got to be profitable and all that. But how do you stay profitable? You build something that the customer wants from time and time again, right? Not like just try to do it the way that you want it all the time. And that's been our focus behind it. We looked at it like, yeah, it was sad letting some of these cards go, because I thought some of them, I bought that green Jaybird. I bought that off eBay. I bought it just because I thought it was a cool card, and it's Jaden Daniels, right? I didn't think I was going to ever get rid of that card. Ask anybody that knows me, all my world championship cards, I'm probably the only person that had full sets of those and put those full sets in the boxes.
Wow. That's crazy.
How many Hex Gamblers and Otanis have you seen? Along with the glows, the ice, the fire, and the steel. And all the kanjis. The Hex kanjis sitting on my desk in my office. But I'm just saying, I wasn't going to tell nobody. That one, I just couldn't.
Secret safe with us.
I couldn't do it. I just, that was one card I had to keep because I haven't seen another one. I'm like, I just
That's
couldn't
amazing.
do it yet. I couldn't do it yet. Eventually I might.
Gonna keep something for yourself. Well, LavaHands, we appreciate your time here, but we want to give you a final moment. Is there anything you want to add? I think you pretty much covered everything. We really enjoyed having you. Thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts here on BPX Break Room.
What is this? They will get, what's really trying to say? Oh, the aftershock. Yeah, so any of the small breakers that didn't get into the Series 2 or just can't afford to get into it because it's above what they're trying to be, you can still reach out to me. I'm going to have the aftershock cases up on the website starting next week on a limited basis. And we're going to try to target that more towards the people that just, you know, didn't want to spend on the higher end stuff, but still going to be great value, allow to introduce your customers into it. And then maybe by the time we do the next series, you'll be ready to upgrade to like one of the bigger cases. And again, we appreciate everybody getting in Hobby Club, buying all our boxes, and giving us any feedback that you may have or have given us already. We really do appreciate it. So,
before you go, did Hobby Club give you any feedback from everything they ripped and from the first series?
We talked to them after the first 50 boxes when they ordered the rest. I have not talked to them since. It's been conflict of schedules. But I plan on being on with the phone with them, hopefully sometime this week.
Okay. I was just wondering because I know, I mean, it seemed like they absolutely love the product. And like you said, after that first night, you know, Chris made a point to say he's buying everything else. So
the biggest feedback we've gotten from anybody is they just felt like a couple of spots were overloaded, but they weren't meant to be that way because, like I said, they were meant to be individual cases. Right. Each case was balanced to be opened by itself. And then some people just not in the other stream, they couldn't see the boxes that were part of those cases. So I think it was just like people not getting to see it as a full broad spectrum of the full 7 cases is really where I think where the confusion came in.
Okay, excellent. And I think, does Mitchell, he might have one last question, but
yeah, go ahead, Mitch.
Well, we'll see. I think
he hasn't posted the question yet.
He's typing it right now, so we'll give Mitchell just a second here, and of course he's 90 seconds behind us. But the other question while we're waiting is like we'll see if he can answer. Type it out. But when's your next break, LavaHands? We're recording this live Wednesday, September 17th, in the middle of the day. And do you have a regular schedule for your breaking? Is it a set pattern, or do you kind of just hold on?
Oh, I don't break. We're fully going wholesale with this product. So.
You're not going to do any more breaking at all anymore.
No. I independently work for myself now. I don't break for anybody anymore.
I figured that you were going to still dabble in it a little bit. Nothing, huh? No plans in the future.
No. So my other partner Joe, who's not on the call right now because he runs his other business during the day. We're going to be opening a store here in the Chicago area, hopefully in the next month or two. Once we get that open, we'll have breakers like working for us and working for the shop. I'm just too with these lava packs alone.
Right.
Like I'm already putting 14 hours a day in to make sure like this isn't like simple. Throw this in a box
No.
and this happens. 500 boxes don't build themselves. They don't come built. They come in like a folded origami where you got to put them together. I hired somebody to finish off the last ones because I got tired of doing it.
So, and along those lines about how you constructed them, my Mitchell's question is: the first 50 were definitely loaded more than the last 250. Was that planned or was that marketing?
Everything was like mixed up ahead of time, like for the cases. So, like when they called me for the second series, the 7 cases were loaded just as much. But I think when they mixed them all together, it didn't seem like they were as loaded. Because when you take 6 cases and mix them all up, and then you have a series of like 15 floor packs that weren't supposed to hit in a row, versus if you took that one case and opened it up, there was like 12 floor packs in a 50 box case. But when you mix it all together and you break it into 3 different breaks, I think people lost the value and the translation because there were as many hits in all those cases than there was in the first one. But the first one was opened the way the other 6 should have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final question is: will you have mattresses in the front or the back of your new showroom in Chicago?
Well, definitely in the back if I'm putting these kind of hours in case I don't make it home.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us.
Thanks,
No
LavaHands.
problem, guys. Appreciate
Thank you, LavaHands. We'll talk soon. That was a pretty nice. That was some nice insight there into these the new hot thing in boba, at least in the breaking world.
Yeah, Jen, what do you think is like? You've kind of, when it comes to breaking, I think you have a skeptical eye towards breaking. But it's interesting because LavaHands, you see this what Shoot Straight is trying to do, and what LavaHands. It seems like people are trying to make it more egalitarian breaking system. It seems like people look at breaking and they almost don't like the system where you have big winners and big losers. People want it more even. And like it goes to Hobby Club, right? With their insurance. That's what they're trying to do. They don't want to see big losers. So it's kind of interesting, which is, of course, YouTube been part of the block packs community for years. And it just, things are always done a little bit differently. You know, you're not trying to create that kind of, I mean, it's kind of cool to see that the way the ecosystem is building up is around that kind of Good Samaritan kind of like ethos, no?
No, it's funny that you were saying that because like a couple days ago, I was kind of thinking to myself because, you know, you read the comments in Discord and there's so many smaller breakers out there trying to do things differently and trying to figure out how to make it work. And and they don't do the insurance. So people really lose or get skunked. And then it brings back everyone's so used to Hobby Club. So I kind of sat and thought whether it was actually a good thing that they started the whole insurance or whether it was a bad thing. And I'm still kind of, I'm not on either side. You know, I could argue either way. So I'm still kind of in the middle.
I'm 100% against, but sorry, go ahead.
All right. Okay. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I think initially, because they're so large, it possibly set a bad bar that others aren't able to live up to and kind of cut some people out of it. I mean, at the end of the day, breaks were breaks and you either won or you lost or you did a draw. I mean, it is what it was. Everyone knew that going in.
Well, if you're going to get into that, like, then we have to have that discussion because I've been on record as saying is that I think nobody's done more for Wonders and Boba than Hobby Club. Like the amount of people they brought in, the eyes that they brought on the product, and Cardio Chris, like nobody's done more for the product than aside from Frenchie creating the product when he was 12 years old, the next most, Bo opens the doors. I was like, Cardio is like right there behind Bo for the most important. Like it's Jeff, it's Bo, and then it's Cardio Chris. So I love Chris. He's a good guy. And I know why he's doing insurance they're doing it for good reasons. They're trying to do yes. But to your point, go ahead. Sorry.
Do we remember how the insurance started? It started with that gigantic break they had where, you know, spots were going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they decided to, you know, because the spots were selling for so much money, and, you know, they knew that, you know, a lot of people weren't going to, you know, necessarily hit value, that they added the element of insurance because the prices were so high that,
Right.
you know, they wanted to guarantee, you know, somebody that spent $600 on a spot wasn't going to come away with, you know, a couple battle foils.
3,000. Yes.
That'd be it. Yeah, or 3,000. Yeah,
600 on a mega hobby break is a discount, dude. Like,
yeah. So, and then, you know, obviously it was successful. Everybody loved it, so they carried it on, and it's incredibly smart on their part because it keeps their prices high, you know, on their breaks. Because you know you're going to get decent value back because of their insurance.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it makes it very hard for other breakers who can't afford insurance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still like on the middle ground here. I'm not for it or against it in any way, shape, or form. I think there are definite positives to it. I mean, I don't think Boba would be where it is right now had they not implemented that policy. I'm just saying it's, you know, you do something to fix what you think one problem is, and then later down the road it causes, you know, other kind of issues unintended. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that, but on the flip side, I think the positive point is that it's making these smaller breakers, and even Hobby Club for that matter, think differently about how to present and sell these breaks, which I appreciate, because I can tell you I am never ever doing a hot dog break or a random hero break ever again if it's not connected with something. So it's interesting to see how people are, you know, similar to, and that's kind of where lava packs came from, right? It's all of the ingenuity of these people trying to come up with new ways to keep people interested and to keep people coming back. So I appreciate that part of it, where we're now seeing all these different types of breaks going on.
And, you know, the final thing I'll say, you brought up the smaller breakers have to compete. The other thing is it's changing the culture for people and what they expect of a break. Because to your point, Jen, is for people who are familiar with breaking long before Boba, they know that when you're going after skeins, is like, if you have the skeen spot, you could spend $300 and you get nothing. And,
right.
Like that's how 99% of the breaking world operates. And so what's interesting is within our ecosystem now, what I find funny is you have a whole host of people who've never done breaking before, so they don't know anything. So when they jump in and they're just like, well, of course, every break's like this. Then the expectation is it's going to be like that from everyone. But what I find interesting is the seasoned veterans of breaks, like even they have switched. Switch has been flipped, where they're like, no, of course there's insurance. This is a Boba break. Like they just view it differently. So to your point about unintended consequences, like it's having an impact on the other breakers, and it's also having an impact on us as consumers of those breaks and how we view it. But it's a great point that you brought up.
The three of us obviously aren't going to know the answer to this question, but I think it's interesting. I wonder if insurance has started to creep into the sports side of breaking, where, you know, people that just break football, baseball, basketball, if, you know, because there is a little bit of crossover with people that buy Boba in our community that also do sports card breaks and stuff. If there's been any push for insurance in sports card breaking too. And like I said, I don't participate in those anymore, so I don't know, but I'd be curious to find out if it's moved over at all, if this is starting to become like a trend in the breaking world of insurance. And Mitchell, he said as a small breaker, I totally get where Jen is coming from. I only have so many insurance cards to give out to people. I don't have cards to keep up in a lot of cases, which is very true. I mean, Hobby Club is enormous. You know, they sell a ton of product, they rip a ton of product, they're able to buy product, buy singles off of eBay and from individuals and buy collections. So yeah, they definitely have an advantage over a smaller breaker when it comes to providing insurance and not losing the value in their brakes at the same time.
And we should add, Mitchell, that you should, if you have not talked directly with Cardio, you should, because the one thing we should also mention is that Cardio is, first of all, they're all not decent. They're great people, and they want the pie to get bigger. They clearly want to be the biggest slice of the pie as it gets bigger, but they also know that everybody benefits if they all work together. So the other thing for all the small breakers watching it, definitely reach out to Cardio, because I know Cardio has worked with the smaller breakers in the past to give them a platform, to work with them, to do different things. So that is, if you're a smaller breaker and you have not worked with Cardio, reach out to them, because they will be more than glad to do something. I'll sign up Chris for anything.
Yeah, Chris will do it. He'll be fine. If you can't get Chris, go to Mitch.
Yeah. Which I love the fact that it's Mitchell, and I keep thinking Cardi and Mitch in my head. But also, Mitchell, if you want to put in your link, I assume to your whatnot, put it in there and we'll put it up. Just appreciate you tuning in today and watching BPX Break Room.
Mitchell, let us know what you break under.
It's Mitchell. It's soothing.
It's soothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you know? How did you doc?
Yeah, what, have you been doing a lot of secret breaks you're not telling us about?
No, let me just tell you that on a personal note, previously, off camera, I got yelled at because I don't read comments and chats and everything else. So if we go back to the original comment that Mitchell put in there, I'm fairly certain, could be mistaken, fairly certain he mentioned the fact that
no. When he said, "Hey Slappy, it's soothing," I thought he either meant the music or he meant the broadcast. He did not capitalize soothing. Soothing. You thought the same thing, Tag.
I thought the same thing. I thought he meant you had like a soothing voice. I was like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. I always thought I had the best voice of the three of us, but apparently not.
God. Thank God I participate in these things.
This is why we have you here, Jen. You're our conscience. You're our
it's our entire audience.
Soothing, not only it looks like Soothing had to step away for a second. Soothing, not only just a great community member. So glad to have him watching today, and also Jorzane with his rolling eye emojis. All right, let's get on to Wonders of the First. So Jen and Tex, full disclosure, your people have been involved with block packs for decades. Maybe not, but you have both decided you'd rather focus more on...
It feels like decades.
You'd rather focus on Boba than Wonders, because it's just too much. And you're like, it's not an easy decision, but you guys want to focus more towards Boba, correct?
Personally, yes. Just because the Boba just appeals to me a little more as a lifelong sports fan and everything. It appeals to me a little more than... Wonders does, and I only have so much money, and I have to figure out where to spend it.
That's what it always boils down to.
Yeah.
You could have just opened with, "I only have so much money," and left it at that.
I only have so much money, and
that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Jen, what did you want to say about Boba versus Wonders?
Yeah, I mean, you say, you focus on, it's kind of like, it's more so, to Tex's point when he got around to it at the end, it's more so where I think I'm going to funnel the funds that I have, I think, for the most part. Yep. I'm not leaving the Discord, not leaving the, the events, the, community, anything like that. But
yeah, I mean, I feel the same. Like, I'm still going to be very involved with Wonders and the Discord and stuff. And I mean, I'll still buy Wonders product and still participate, but not to the extent that I'll be doing, in Boba. And I know there's people in Boba that are going to do the same thing with Wonders. They'll fade Boba.
Poor Jen. Poor Jen is like, we're driving her to drink, talking about her having to give up Wonders.
I know. Chardonnay this early, Jen? It's only 2:00. Don't you at least wait till 3?
It's my kombucha.
It's 1:30.
Oh,
yeah. It looks
kombucha.
Like
Yeah.
But
it's wine o'clock.
I would disagree with you that you're going to see people giving up boba for Wonders. The Wonders people, like American Texan plays. He's like, no, not getting into boba. Like they have a Chinese wall up between them. By the way, just to close out a couple of things is that Soothing said, thanks guys. You've been able to catch the Valley Hit House streams yet? And then Jay Hatton was saying, I'd love an actual repack that starts with X amount of packs and eventually depletes. So the chances of actually getting something worth it after a lot of buys goes up. So interesting there. But we're not going to get in discussion text. Don't go there. I just wanted to include those comments because we appreciate everybody who watches.
I was going to say, Jay, message LavaHands in the Discord. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. All right, so getting into so now, I full disclosure is that, and I still like both. I think they're incredible. I haven't picked a lane, but so Tex and Jen, and be honest, because we're gonna do an honest discussion here. Did you both read the announcement? Not the announcement in the Discord, but the link that took you to another page. Tex, did you actually read it all?
I actually read it the other day when it dropped. I'll say I read 90% of it.
I read it.
Now that I did read all of it. I
read it twice already.
Yeah.
I had to go back to it twice.
All right. So Tex only 90%. All right. So I've got it here. Before we get into it, though, Jen, when you read that, what was your initial thought? Your initial thought was
yeah, it was. I mean, number one, a lot of information that I had to. That's why I read it twice and probably about 5 more times before I fully understand everything. I mean, I personally am not a player. Let's put it down.
People say you are a player.
What? But this made me think potentially on 2 different avenues. My first reaction, I guess, is I like the part, and I know Frenchie has always said that this was his intent, so I'm glad to see it coming to fruition where he's trying to bridge that gap between collectors and players. And if you are a collector and you invest heavily in the cards or the things that you want to collect, the better cards, that you can then kind of source your own team and have players play your cards, play your decks, and you can have, however many decks you're able to make, you can have those many teams. So it's kind of bridging that gap.
It hooked you, Jen. As a collector, this hooked you back, didn't it?
What? No, because see, you keep confusing investment,
yes,
future investment, diverging versus involvement in the community and participation in events.
Suddenly, Gen Con is the Warren Buffett of Radish.
Yeah. So it did not. It's making me think. And then I also went and counted some of my cards.
How many OCMs do you have?
Enough.
Do you have enough for 2 teams?
Potentially. Well, see, but then it raises a whole bunch of questions. Like I have OCMs. Are they good for a deck? I mean, there's a difference between pulling 25 OCMs and the stone foil, and then all your other foremost foils and throwing them into and trying to play an event. I mean, are they really? Is it really a playable deck?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just, as typical with, block packs, historically speaking, the more they communicate, the more questions and paths it opens. So, yep. Every time I make a decision, they come at me with something that makes me question it.
So Tex, what when you read that, you read it with interest. You only did 90%, but it didn't change anything for you personally. Before, let's just get that out of the way, right?
My first thought was Oh my God, do I have to go to Vegas in November? How am I going to afford this? What boba do I have to sell to get myself to Vegas? But no, my initial thought was it sounds amazing for the people that are going to be able to go out to this and participate in the tournament. I mean, we all saw or most of us saw what the boba tournament was like at the National. And I think this will, have the same kind of vibe. Not that there was any trouble with the boba tournament, but now that they have, one kind of big tournament under their belt, I'm sure this Wonders tournament, they'll work out some of the bugs that they had with boba and it'll go really well. And I think it's going to be a great way to promote the product, which, with the new series coming out in February now, and some big announcements to come on that. I think this is going to be a really nice little kickoff for the new round of Wonders coming after the first of the year.
So again,
and I'm excited for the people that are going to go out there and play in it.
So
are you really excited though, Tex?
I am. Yeah, I think I think Yo-Yo is going to go out there.
You're no animation. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll take another.
I'll take another.
Take another screenshot.
Hey, Tex though for you for Wonders, that almost pulls you back in because you could conceivably see a time you like going to the events. The three of us were all at the Shattering. We loved it. Had a great time. We're planning on going to the Call of the Stones, which you still probably are going to go to. But so in the future, you could see yourself going to the Vegas World Championship every year.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Not, more as a fan, not necessarily a contestant. Although that's the other thing. I've been so consumed with boba, I haven't even started to go through my Wonders and everything. I have enough to build probably a pretty good deck. But yeah. I'm only human. I can only do so much.
By the way, LavaHands says I'll be in Vegas tomorrow for a Poca on LV, and next month for a Rock Solid card show. If I go to Vegas in November, I probably couldn't come home. By the way, let's just get this out of the way before we get into a little bit of the details, and then I'll link to American Texan Plays. He had Benless on his show last night, and they talked about the news that just came out. So as you can see on the screen, of course, the big news is $125,000 World Championship. And of course, people need to know that is not going to one winner. So the $125,000 will be split up. Primarily, there'll be $100,000 in one tournament, $25,000 in another. Somebody's not walking away like the Monopoly man with a big bag of cash. All right. Of course, we didn't even get to the bad news. And it was interesting the way they dropped the news. They gave us a lot of great news and they talked about the bad news. They talked about the Shattering for the Call of the Stones. That will be moving to mid-February. Moving to February. Originally, it was planned for October, then it slipped to November. It's not going to happen until next year. I will say, we'll talk about this in a second, but one of the things they mentioned, which is really important news, I didn't hear anyone else talking about this, but as those of us who've watched Block Packs for years, this is huge. They said we're adding additional talent, including 2 new senior level hires in the last 10 days with a focus on the areas where we struggled the most, i.e. logistics. The good news is that the existence is going to have its own day in the sun. This is what you're hearing the players talk about. If the Call of the Stones had come out when it was going to come out, then what was going to happen is, and Benless made this point on his video with American Texan, is that as part of the play group, the play testers had an unfair advantage because if you release these cards right before the World Championship and they were eligible to be played, well, who knew how to play it? Who knew how to construct a deck out of them? The playtest group. So they would go into it with a huge advantage. The other thing is it really wouldn't have given a spotlight just on existence. So, in the announcement, they say the silver lining, they didn't plan it, but this is great because now we can have a spotlight just on the existence set. So there's the Stoneseeker World Cup 2025. That's a $25,000 cash plus championship prize card, top 8 promo cards, and more. The entry fee is going to be $50. The format's going to be constructed with a DBS limit of 1,000. I won't go into too much more detail. 1, because there's not much more, and 2, because Jen will start falling asleep. And then with that $50 entry fee, though, you get a play bundle, you get an event promo. So basically you're going to get more than $50 back. So even if you had to put together the worst deck possible, if you can make it to Vegas, you have to go. And by the way, when I'm done reading the highlights, guys, let's focus on why it's so important to attend every Block Packs event you can, and especially the premier event. And we can talk about our Apex Madness experience. The Dragon Cup 2025, that's the biggie. That's the $100,000. Now, it's interesting. American Texas and Benless, in American Texans video that was just released on September 16th, they talk about how expensive is it to compete in the Stoneseeker World Cup 2025. $400, and they both agreed, yeah, that's about what it is. Then they said the Dragon Cup 2025, how much does it cost to compete in that? $4,000? Yes. And why is that? Because you must have at least one stone foil, which is the prices had been going down because we hadn't seen much activity, and they were actually getting down closer to 1,000. But of course, now with those being an entry ticket, they pop back up and it's closer to 2,000. So right there, $2,000 of your deck is just going to be your stone foil. And then of course you must have, here's the kicker, is that you must have, let's see, the Dragon Cup special deck rules. Decks must be entirely pre-release foils. Those are those ones you can see in the Block Packs marketplace. Formless foils, OCMs, and stone foils. So formless foils, OCMs, and stone foils. At least 25 cards must be stone foils or OCMs. So at least 25 cards must be one of ones or serialized cards. We know how rare those are. The remainder of the deck must be formless foils or pre-release foils, which is interesting because here it says they need formless or pre-release. No, okay, I answered my question. In addition, to your standard cards, tokens must be stone foils, OCMs, or formless foils. And there's a few other things it talks about, but that's actually the big thing. So you got to have a formless foil to enter the $100,000 tournament. You got to have 25 either stone foils or OCMs. So clearly there is a lane for collecting and there's a lane for playing. But the big tournament is going to be for those who've collected. And so the question is, will Frenchie's marriage of collecting and playing meet at this tournament? Because, of course, will you get really great players partnering with really great collectors to say, let's get together on this? Is Frenchie finally going to bridge that divide? All right. So anyway, Jen, what are your general thoughts about all the rules that go into the Dragon Cup?
No, I mean, like I said before, I'm encouraged to see the joining between the collectors and the players. But like I said, it's you put that out that, either 25 stone foils or OCMs, but then it comes down to is what you have make a good deck? You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. So then it's a whole nother Pandora's box that opens if you try and team up with someone or try and team up with like 3 or 4 people, so you can do, so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and what people do. And then I know there's also the aspect of, if you're going to, as a collector, if you're going to attend the event and go all the way down there and you have enough to play, if we're going off of what happened on the Boba National Tournament, almost anyone that entered came away with something. So even if you're a horrible player, is it worth throwing your name in the ring and just sitting down and having a good time and playing the game? So I don't, there's a lot of roads and avenues and choices to be made.
To your point about more questions,
yes,
not even provide information. So, Tex, what do you think about? You have no idea how many OCMs you have, do you?
No, I was just looking at my desk to what box I have them in, and I'm not sure where they are at the moment. They're in one of these boxes here. Like I said, I all my Wonders stuff is all boxed up and just sitting here waiting for me to go through. I know I have a bunch of them, but maybe I'll be renting some of mine out to players in the tournament that need some extra cards or whatever to build their decks. So we'll see. But I do like the fact that in the Dragon Cup, it's along with, oh hey, look at that. Is
There's a
that
lot-
Telly Savalas?
Here's a
Oh,
live.
it's Annie.
No, it's
Wait,
a
that's
live.
Telly Savalas, isn't
No.
it? No, it's not. It's
a live view of. It's a live view of Tech Super in his basement with so many boxes of Wonders and Boba that he can't. He can't be quite sure where those OCMs are.
Well, if anyone saw the picture of his basement and the boxes, they'd completely understand.
yeah, it's a bit of a mess.
But,
I was going to say, though, I do like in the Dragon Cup that it's, along with having the appropriate cards to be able to enter in the Dragon Cup, it's a $250 entry fee, but everyone is guaranteed at least $200 back. Whether if you finish last, you're getting, it's going to cost you $50 to get in the tournament, basically, which is a pretty good deal. And from, the top 8, I just happen to have one here. Boba cards, that are absolutely spectacular. I cannot wait to see what the Wonders top 8 cards are going to be, what they're going to look like, because I have a feeling they're going to be pretty awesome.
it's interesting watching that. So the American Texan video that he just dropped, which I think he just went to American Texan Plays. I remember, I could swear it was always American Texan, not American Texan Plays. But in the video last night, I watched today, it's American Texan Plays. There were a couple things. One is that he mentioned, if you have, they talked about legendary breaks, having a bunch of stone foils. Can they enter multiple teams? Let me answer that question. Yes, if he gets enough people to do it, right? Answer it like we'll have to hear what Joe, Doug, and the team says. But you saw Galileo and Bazooka. They had 2 teams at National. Radish had 2 teams at National for Apex Madness. So I would imagine, they set the rules out there. These are the ways to get into the tournament. So I don't think if you've got the cards, you can field multiple teams. The other thing that's interesting is American Texas. I think it was American Texas, Ben, who said, will the championship card be different than what we saw in Orlando? And I think he was making the comment, I don't think so. It's like, oh, you don't know Frenchie. Absolutely, it'll be different for the World Championship than Orlando. And that's the key, right, for Apex Madness. For those who aren't familiar, and if you're a gamer, but like the Boba side, like one of the extra perks we got even was we were walked out to the World Championship for Apex Madness with professional athletes, Hall of Famers. So Carlton Fisk walked out with us. And a little side story, because Jen really loved our shirts, is that our shirts had a Roy Rogers cowboy horse type theme. Carlton Fisk loved them so much. His handler reached out to me and said, hey, you told Carlton you'd be able to get him another one. And because I didn't do it right away when I got back from National, Carlton was bugging his handler to say, hey, get me that shirt. Get in touch with him. So you'll be happy to know that Carlton has that shirt. So Carlton now is an honorary member of the Radish Apex Madness. And I haven't asked yet, but I am going to ask for a photo of him wearing it so we can put it up.
We got to get him on our team at the National next year. He should be a member of our team.
I know. Hopefully he'll be in Chicago. But it brings to question is like, these are the type of things and getting into this for folks who are thinking about going, for folks who you either have the money to travel there or you live within driving distance, you must go. And the reason why you go is that you have and it becomes just an event. Frenchie always does that. Like, and find your way into this event. Like the things that you're going to be giving as an entrant, you can turn around and sell. Like, and even Benless and American Texan were saying, like, what you're going to get to enter, you can turn around and sell it. It'll easily be worth it.
Yeah.
The mat, whatever it is, but just the experience. Like, why do we do Boba? Why do we do Wonders? We do it for the experience, right? At the end of the day, like that's why, LavaHands sold his PC and only kept a couple things, because he has the thrill of building something. He has the thrill of breaking. And so, right, it's the experience is better than the product. So if you get a chance, you have to go.
And it's also a great way to get to meet and hang out with members of the community that you only know, virtually, through the Discord or whatever. There'll be a lot of people there you'll get to, meet and hang out with for the first time and
I
make friendships.
Agree, Jorzane, because it's nice that you put it in quotes, because that was not a jersey, and I am potentially filing a mass complaint to the tournament directors that you violated the dress code.
Meanwhile, by the way, True Blue Ninja saying that he might be able to round up enough to enter the Dragon Tournament, which is exciting. He's also out west, so I think he can make it. But Jen, I don't think we asked you, but are you planning on making it to Vegas?
I have no idea. Haven't even.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I never say never.
And so you might actually enter this.
You never say never.
Okay.
She might get herself a team.
Okay.
You have a stone foil, right? Do you have a personal stone foil?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you're lucky to hit one. Yep. Well, and that yes, it'll be interesting to see. And then Tex and I, Tex and I are part of a group that collects stone foils, which is we wanted those from the original one. And it's Tex. It's looking like a pretty wise decision on our part, huh? To go ahead and continue to scoop up the stone foils.
At this point, yes, it does. And while we were talking here, I actually checked. Our cards are actually going through image processing at Tag as we speak.
Oh wow!
So our card should be graded finished being graded in a day or two.
Now, the one thing I am interested to see is how the cards will be if you vault them with block packs. And for folks who haven't done that, who are watching this, block packs, the people behind Boba and Wonders, they have a great vaulting service. And if you're a geek, you have certain benefits that you get that other people don't have, whether it's not paying money or just the ability to do it. But we can send them to South Carolina, where Wonders and Bo Battle Arena are headquartered. They'll put them in a humidity controlled vault. It's an insured vault, and then you have a token that represents your ownership in it. So Tex, I saw where they did mention, you're going to be able to, if you vault your cards with block packs, you're going to be able to use those cards. So it's interesting because I don't remember, Jen, you might for Apex Madness, if your card is vaulted with block packs, do you just ahead of time tell them like my card's there? Like, because I remember there was talk about sending the cards to the people for National, but I don't remember the discussion of people who said my card's vaulted.
Yeah, if it's vaulted, you just have to show them that it's vaulted. So you just show it on the marketplace.
Yep.
But I know for Boba it was different, right? They gave you the proxy card.
Right.
Did you have to wait, hold on. Wait, did you have to pay for if you showed them it's vaulted on your marketplace account? Did you have to pay the $8 for the other card?
That I don't know. I didn't personally do that. But what I find interesting is for Wonders, whether it's graded, vaulted, or even I think they said Boba, you had to play with the raw 200 power card. Wonders, you do not have to, unless I read it incorrectly. But you can show them that you own the card, and then you can play with a lower version. Correct?
Yeah, like a paper version.
To quote, to protect your most cherished Wonders, you may compete with classic treatments as long as you have the Dragon Cup legal cards in your possession. And of course, this makes sense because whereas Boba is the higher the treatment, the higher the power, is in Wonders, it's the play itself. It's the energy that you're using is like, it's not going to change depending on what the treatment is, the card. It doesn't matter whether you're using a stone foil or you're just using paper.
Correct. So that's another interesting kind of twist, right? So you have your whole deck planned out, and now you got to go, if you don't want to actually shuffle and play with those, sleeve them up. Now you got to go find paper version. So increase in paper values. I don't know.
Well, I have plenty of paper if anybody out there needs some paper cards. Boxes.
So just to ask you guys, in American Texan and Benless, they covered this, but it's interesting because Benless said, you could see once the announcement came up, prices started going up. And as people were saying, hey, I've got OCMs, and the thought was like, hey, people are going to be competing. Everybody's thinking I have a chance to compete. And so people are out there buying right away. He feels like, just wait a couple weeks, it's going to come back down. I definitely think it's going to be, high right away. But do you guys think it's going to go back to we had been troughing because not much had been happening in the Wonders ecosystem. Do you think this is going to lift prices through November when the World Championship is? Or do you think we only saw this little blip and now prices are going to go back down for OCMs, for stone foils, for unripped boxes.
Go ahead, Jen. Go.
No, I was just gonna say I think it definitely is gonna jump to probably a higher than normal range just because everyone's out there trying to grab stuff, but I think there's some aspect of people trying to go out there and grab stuff because they think it's at a good price now and it'll be worth more later and they're going to sell it. So I think it'll come back down, but not to the level that it has been at. But then again, it's also going to play into, right, the playability of your card and what people's decks are. So again, it's not just grabbing 25 OCMs, unless you're just like a collector, I guess, that wants to grab a seat at the tournament and you're just going to go in with whatever you can grab and meet the minimum requirements. But I'm assuming most people have some thought process and logic behind crafting their deck, and they're going to be going after those OCMs. What?
You're so smart. Yeah. So, Tex, what were you going to say? Why are you guys laughing? She is smart. She
is. She's brilliant woman.
What's wrong with this show?
Smart and pretty. That's
when I
why we love
her intelligence, and like everybody laughs. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I think prices will continue to rise through November up until the tournament, and then we'll probably see a leveling off. I think price will stay up there, not continue to grow necessarily, maybe dip a little. But I think that'll, stay until February when the new stuff comes out. And then I think we'll see another jump in prices as everybody gets back into Wonders and the attention goes back to Wonders and people start to look at their, sets and their collections and like, oh, I got to fill this hole and I need this formless foil. And, so I think the month of October is going to be a good month to move some Wonders product if you got some.
I will say
October. I said October.
Right? Yeah. American and Texan and Benless, they commented about like, do I think people are going to be ripping Dragon boxes? No. Do I think people are going to ripping boxes, existence boosters? No. They didn't say a hard no, but they kind of were like, not really. Like, I got to tell you, like after the announcement, I've ripped 2 boxes, existence booster boxes of them, and it's like I've had a hard time finding a time when I could rip with my son who absolutely loves Wonders, and I couldn't contain myself anymore, and I started ripping them because I'm just like I gotta rip them. I'm like, and it wasn't that I was ripping them to sell spot pieces. I was ripping it because I haven't been able to fully rip my Wonders product, and it just made me so anxious to want to rip my Wonders product. I wanted to actually see it. So I would say I think you're going to see a lot more ripping. I think a lot of Dragon boxes and booster boxes are going to get ripped. I also think it's interesting, more so than Boba, right? The player versus the collector. It's interesting. The players, I think I do a good job trying to understand the player mindset, but the players, they don't fully understand the collector mindset. I think when they say things like, "Oh, prices are going to go back down," or I'm glad Benless told American Texan, like, hey, if you see a card that you're waiting on, like to complete your set, even if it's right now during a period when it's a little bit high, you need to grab it. If that's what you want for your collection, you need to get it. And good for Benless for saying that. And he describes himself as a collector as well, because I don't think the players in Wonders fully understand the collector influence in Wonders. And for instance, this existence set, of course, is held by many of the people who came from block packs. So a lot of them are not only sealed, but people are going to keep those. They have a full set of paper, a full set of this, and it just, you can't stress enough how much of the existence set is never going to make it out into the public. People will hold on to this. This is unlike any other game.
And it's a very scarce commodity. The more that gets opened, the less there is, because as we know with Wonders, there's no reprints. So, these cards, like if you have an opportunity to grab a card, you should grab it now because you might not get that opportunity again. These are all finite cards. There are only so many produced of each and they'll never be produced again. So, this is a good time to, start looking and start completing collections and stuff like that, because the people that are collecting, are going to be snatching these cards up for their collections, and it's going to make it harder for the tournament players that need these cards.
Right, and like you said, and like Scott, you had said before, it's the difference between the Boba cards and the Wonders cards is the fact that Boba, the different treatments are different power levels. So there's constantly a market for that because people are trying to always improve their decks. With Wonders, paper, stone foil, same playability.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. So yes, if you're a collector on the Wonder side and you see a card you want, you need to grab it because there aren't going to be, to Texas' point again, there's not going to be that many. You don't know how many are going to ever be out.
There aren't 10,000 formless foils of a given card. There's. It's not like Pokemon where there's an unlimited number essentially of.
Right, and people don't need them to play.
I always think about Alpha Trilogy, and when we interviewed him when I think Tex, you're the one who did the interview, is after he completed the deal with Tito to grab the last Lost Miner, so the last NFT pre-ETH merge, is that he felt he overpaid, not much, but he felt he overpaid, and he said, I realized if I didn't get it now, I wouldn't probably have the opportunity in my lifetime to ever hold this. And, it
was a one-shot deal.
And, it's like we never thought we'd lose Alpha so soon, but it's just like I think about what a great, Alpha was so wise in so many things. But, I'm not saying everybody out there, you're going to pass away, but it's like to the point is you're one shot of getting a collectible. Like you got to take advantage of when you do it. Hey, and then by the way, Mitchell said, is there going to be Boba in Vegas? I don't think there's going to be, although I will say my plan was for the Call of the Stones, I wanted to put together an Apex Madness tournament. Like when Call of the Stones happens down in Columbia, South Carolina, 100%. I want to see if we can get an Apex Madness tournament going on for Boba. Like I want to do that. I probably won't make it to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure at the hotels in Vegas and stuff, the people that are there will be playing Boba at night. But there's going to be no formal Boba.
One thing we should make clear, like now, Wonders is not going to be like this, but Gen Tex, I still talk to people who don't understand that the Apex Madness tournament, the big tournament, was war. They didn't understand we weren't playing substitution. We didn't use plays. It was war. And I shout out to Cursive, where he and I matched up twice, and he said, let's go old school, and we just did off the top of our deck and flipped them over. Like instead of setting up 7 on that and like figuring out strategy is like he and I just did that. Of course, he beat me twice, but I had a very weak deck. So Jen and Tex, do you guys want to? I think that's it. So we covered. It was great having LavaHands on. We talked about the announcement from Wonders. But Jen, anything final closing thoughts?
No, this has been great. My brain's going in a million different directions. A lot to think about and process.
Have you started? Have you started looking at flights to Vegas yet? Are you on Expedia on another tab as we sit here and talk?
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's too soon. I may take the renting things out and teaming approach.
There you go.
You heard it here.
I will say that the hotel deal that they're running, I forget where I saw the link, but they do have a link for hotels, I think. Somewhere for they have a block of rooms set aside. The price is very good if you jump on that hotel deal compared to the other hotels.
First is my mother's birthday, so I don't.
Oh, it sounds like a weekend trip to Vegas with your mom. That's great for her birthday.
There you go.
Does not enjoy Vegas.
Yeah, you can take her out to the Narrows. Yeah. All right. There's plenty of national parks there. Tex, any final thoughts?
No. Just looking forward to these next couple months here with everything ramping up towards the new Wonders at the after the first of the year and the Griffey stuff with Boba and the mini set coming out. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get some new product and start ripping again.
All right. This is Discord user Slappy White, Tex Hooper, Jen Con for BPX Break Room. Thank you, LavaHands, for joining us today. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you, those commenting, and thank you, everybody who's watching in the replay. This has been BPX Break Room powered by Radish Digital. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.